A 3x. That is what Cardano did in 2021 after fulfilling this pattern. And take a look here, posted by Ali_charts on X. W pattern coming into a breakout, retest, and then a move up. Cardano 3x after this. And well, look at where we are now. Looks quite familiar, doesn't it? We'll take a look at our own chart with this pattern that Ali posted. Also, we give an update. Conversion rates are out for the Glacier drop of the Midnight token. If you hold one Cardano, how many Midnight tokens are you going to get? If you hold one Bitcoin, how many Night tokens? We have all of that ready to go. We also have Bo Hines talking about which assets that are going to be added into the digital asset stockpile for the U.S. government, and does Cardano make the cut? And then also Charles Hoskinson, where he thinks the money from the Treasury should be spent. And also, today we're highlighting a very special comment from the community from our last video. Last video had around 18,000 views, so shout out to all you Cardano fans. We love you. We keep making out Cardano content for you. And well, we got a highlight of one comment. You're not going to want to miss it. Let's take a peek and start here. Mr. Bo Hines. I keep forgetting this dude's title. I think it's like the advisor of digital assets to the White House of the President of the United States. Anyways, he was asked about the digital asset stockpile. Take a listen to what he had to say.
So I think that the decentralization standards mean the most. And if you can get to a level that matches Bitcoin, and maybe there is a product that does that one day, right? And so we'll see what happens. And I know that other ecosystems are continuing to develop and thrive, but we still want these tokens to meet the same standard. And I think that there is a world in which, yeah, sure, there could be other additional assets added to a reserve, but we're not there yet. I think that we probably will get there eventually at some point, because I believe in American exceptionalism and in our ability to create and develop. And obviously, Bitcoin being, that golden standard, like we've said repeatedly, Bitcoin is digital gold. There's a world in which, yeah, you could see more assets added to that.
Okay, this is the guy advising the president. And what he literally just said is the assets that we are going to add to the stockpile have to meet the decentralization standard. Now, I searched and searched. I couldn't find that damn table. If you guys remember from a few weeks ago or from a week ago, there was a table that they broke down of which ones are true decentralized and which ones are not there yet. And I'll refresh your memory. There was only 3 coins, 3 blockchains that got the stamp of approval: Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano. The 3. So we can assume by what Bo Hines just said that when they do start buying for the digital asset stockpile, those will be the 3 they buy. Well, minus Bitcoin, because they already have a Bitcoin strategic reserve. So really, are we going to see a world where the United States government is actively buying not just Bitcoin, but Ethereum and Cardano solely until the others come into the decentralization standards that the White House has? I think that is a fair assessment to make. I think that is a fair way to extrapolate what Bo Hines just said. Will it happen? I don't know. By the time they start buying, will more assets be considered decentralized? I don't know. But I know that if they start buying today, based on what he just said, ETH and Cardano are the only 2 they are going to buy. So that's pretty awesome. Moving on, Charles Hoskinson was on a X Spaces talking about the Cardano Treasury and what it's going to mean and where the money should be spent. Let's take a listen.
Be that middle ground between where Catalyst graduates and where you actually are a fully formed, functioning business, and you're making lots of money, and you have lots of customers, your tokens growing to the moon. It's a very necessary component between those 2 parts that we as an ecosystem can put some money into, and it can go to some very trusted people, like Drip Drops and Indigo and Sunday and AdaLink and Euro and Anvil and Clear Contracts and Dex Hunter and Fluid Tokens and Ikigai and Ada Handle and Matera and NFT CDN and OrcFax and Tap Tools and Vesper and NEM and Flux Point Studios and Sneck and so forth.
Listen, man, I know he rambled for like 30 seconds about the projects, but Ada's dead. We know those projects don't even exist, right? It's obviously a joke. All those people that are saying no one's building it, he literally just rambled off like 20 projects that have been building on Ada, and I'm not just the only 20 projects, the ones that have been around for a while. He'll get to his point here in a second. Let's go back to the X Spaces.
The list goes on and on and on. There's a lot of people there. These aren't just names; they're people and they're companies, and they've been in the ecosystem for a while. And we have to understand that they've carried a lot of water for us. They've showed up. They're at the conferences. They believe in the ecosystem. They want the ecosystem to be successful. They just need some vital lifeblood and resources to kind of get to the next level. And we have the treasury for this. We have 1.8 billion ADA to make that happen. We have to be judicious with it, but at the same time, it is sufficient that we can fund our obligations as an ecosystem and get the resources in the hands of the people that can get it to the next level. Because these are the people that are going to bring in the next million users to Cardano. These are the people that are going to bring in the next 10 million transactions to Cardano. These are the people that are going to take our TVL from 350 million to a billion. These are the people that are actually going to take Cardano to the next level. So
I'm curious. Okay, I want to do a poll in the comment section. Okay, I've heard some people are with what Charles is saying. Yes, reward loyalty. The ones that have been around for a while, give them money. I've heard others say, well, they've been around for a while. Save the money for maybe a badass team that migrates over from Solana or from Ethereum that wants to bring their massive dApp, their mass amount of users into Cardano, or maybe a new dApp that the founders that no one knows, they come in, they have this amazing idea that's going to blow Cardano up. Save the money for those people, not the ones that have already been here for a while. So I'm curious, what do you think is more important? Reward loyalty and give ADA to the dApps and projects that have been around for a while to get them, to keep them to survive, or save that money for the new projects that maybe have a lot more hype or are going to come in and, I don't know, change the game. Save the money for them to bring in a new influx of users. Put a 1 for the former, reward loyalty. Put a 2 for the new projects. I'm very curious, and I'll share the stats on the live show on Monday, so make sure to come check that out. And then we also have this. Take a look at this. This is, first of all, I'll give credit to Army of Spies. This is their X handle, if you want to go follow them. Cardano is definitely getting the best conversion in the midnight distribution. Take a look at this. If you have $100,000 worth of Cardano, you get 47,000 night tokens. If you have $100,000 worth of Bitcoin, you get 604 night tokens. If you have $100,000 worth of Ethereum, you get 1,400 night tokens. Here are the conversion rates, my friend. Cardano, if you're an ADA holder, you are being taken care of. Over 1 million eligible addresses. Over 1 million. That's pretty awesome. 1 ADA equals 0.3466 night tokens. There's 17 million eligible Bitcoin addresses, with 1 Bitcoin equaling less than 700 night tokens. Okay. XRP, 2.2 million addresses. 1 XRP equals 0.04 night tokens. And then 7.8 million Ethereum addresses. 1 ETH equals 50 night tokens. 3.4 million Solana addresses. 1 Solana equals just shy of 3 night tokens. I am excited for this airdrop. I know you are probably excited for this airdrop. If you're watching this video, you're a Cardano fan. If you're watching this video for a first time, well, then unless you have ADA somewhere you don't memorize, you don't know, you might not get the airdrop. But for those of you that had ADA in a wallet on the June snapshot, you will be getting allocation to go ahead and mine those night tokens. All I will say is stay safe, don't do anything stupid, and don't get scammed. Subscribe to the channel, have your notification bell on. We put out a crap load of Cardano content, and we'll keep everyone, especially you watching, in the loop as far as what to do. Now, let's get back to this chart. So Ali shows on the weekly W pattern, breakout, retest, 3x. Take a look here. This is Cardano. Now, I was trying to find from what platform he sources from. So I'm using data from Binance, okay? Doesn't show the clear W pattern, but we can follow where he showed where the breakout happened, which was around July of 2021 after that retrace. And while Cardano rallied around 180%, essentially a 3x from here, which would put ADA at around $2.10. Now, for that to happen, Then this is on the weekly, seeing another W pattern again with what Ali is saying here. Beautiful W pattern, seeing a little bit of retracement coming into a flag, which should break to the upside. If the U.S. government comes out and says, we've been buying for the digital asset stockpile, well, we know what's going to be in there. It's going to be Cardano and it's going to be Ethereum. Let's say retail gets in here. All that money market fund gets unlocked. Midnight goes amazing. RWAs are onboarded. Stablecoin, privacy. There's a lot. Bitcoin DeFi. It's a lot happening in the ADA ecosystem that can all come together at once for a explosive rally in ADA. Now, the last thing. Jim Beeves, in my last video, shared that Charles said ADA could 100x or 1,000x. And, well, Mr. Beeves said, brog, whatever the hell that means. You're a moron. Put 100,000 in ADA at 78 cents. It gives you 78,000 ADA. 3 times that amount at 78 cents times 1,000% equals, I don't know what the fuck kind of math this is. But yeah, and so he's calling me a moron. And well, I just had to verify and clarify. I said, brog, or whatever the hell that means. It said 1,000x, not 1,000%. 1,000x would be 100,000%. Okay? You had 2 zeros at the end. Simple math. 1,000% is a 10x. Okay? So you take away 2 zeros. Okay? So simple math. Jim Beeves, I appreciate you watching. Thank you so much. And I'm hoping you're watching this one too. And if you are, drop a comment in the comment section, guys. I love you so much. Thank you. Thank you again. Have a great weekend. And we'll see you guys on Monday. Peace.